Let us pray.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts, may they be acceptable in your sight, O God. You are our rock, our strength, and our Redeemer. Amen. Hey Jake, it's good to have you home. I did get you in the prayer celebrations, but it's awfully good to have you home, and thanks for saving lives this summer down in North Carolina on the beach. Job well done. Years ago, I was part of a clergy peer group which had received a pretty large amount of money to study together from the Lilly Endowment. We had this privilege of studying together, playing together, and supporting one another over 3 years. At least that's how long the money lasted. But 18 years later, we are still connected to one another and we support one another. One of our peak experiences was to study a different culture, a different way of being, of hospitality from a different faith point of view. And so we traveled to Thailand and Cambodia. We boarded a plane on a January day in Indianapolis. We flew to St. Louis, then Los Angeles. We had a short layover in LA where we spent much of our time waiting in a security line. Once we boarded our flight in LA, it was a long 11 hours to Hong Kong, a 3-hour plus layover before flying another 3 hours to Bangkok. Somehow I thought Hong Kong and Bangkok were much closer together. No, it was another long flight, where we slept for about 6 hours before flying to Siem Reap, Cambodia. It felt as if the travel would never end. And when we finally reached Cambodia, I think all of us looked at one another and said, "We made it! We finally made it!" And the amazing trip could begin. After these last 5 weeks, I feel like we finally made it. We've made it to the end of John chapter 6. We boarded the plane well fed with some leftovers to spare. In between the movies and snacks, we heard about Jesus as the bread of life and couldn't believe what he was saying since he was one of us, yet from God. At our first layover, we got into a bit of a fuss with him because he talked about flesh and blood and it was a bit gory. And now we've landed, we've made it. But it seems that not everyone is going to continue with us on this trip. At the end of this chapter, at the end of our trip through John chapter 6, we have some overlap from last week. Bread, flesh. Jesus reminds us again that this isn't what their ancestors received from the desert during the Exodus. Now, if there's one thing we have learned in these last 4 weeks of our journey, these are hard words. Hard to hear, hard to comprehend, and honestly, hard to believe. No wonder then that many of those following Jesus now desert him. No wonder then that as we have landed, as we have made it to our final destination, some just can't bear to continue this trip. Some might say about those who go their separate ways that they lack faith, that they're too lazy to believe. But note that John calls these folks in today's passage not part of the crowd. He calls them his disciples. So the people in today's reading who now desert Jesus are precisely those who had, in fact, believed in Jesus, those who had followed him and had given up much to do so. But now, finally, after all their waiting and watching and wondering and worrying, they have grown tired. And they can no longer see clearly what it was about Jesus that attracted them to him in the first place, and so they leave. And who can blame them? Are we really that different? I mean, who here has not at one time or another wondered whether you have believed in vain? Have you ever had that crisis of faith asking yourself, what is this all about? During the dark of the night, perhaps, watching and praying at the bedside of a child or a grandchild in the hospital, wondering why he or person. Or in the early part of the morning, maybe, when waking up alone with grief so deep, so longing for your spouse or partner. Or in the latter part of the afternoon as you're fixing dinner and thinking about your family so full of ill will toward each other and wondering why things have not turned out the way you had hoped and whether they ever would. It's during times like these that we are looking for God, for some sense that there is even a God. And when we have a hard time seeing God, I think we are tempted to conclude that the promises we once trusted in about Jesus, about God, are now empty, and our faith misplaced. So maybe we won't renounce God or desert Jesus openly. Instead, we just don't make the extra effort to get to church regularly, or we reduce what we've been giving, or we may become more reluctant to help others, or stop praying until in the end we end up like the disciples in today's reading. We've made it to the end of the chapter. And it's really not a pretty picture. It's rather realistic. It's an accurate picture of disbelief with Jesus surrounded by folks who so wanted to believe, who used to believe, who've been trying to believe, but have gone through the motions too long and they've finally given up. On the other hand, we also have another picture in this passage. We have a picture of belief, of courage and faith. Jesus turns to the inner circle of 12 and he asks them, are you going to go away too? And Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have words of eternal life. I think Peter is offended, just like the rest of them and some of us. He is the traditionalist, keeping the laws of the Jewish faith. The idea of eating and gnawing flesh and guzzling blood makes his stomach turn. But Peter says to Jesus, Lord, where else am I going to go? You have the words. We know Peter wasn't perfect. But thank God for Peter, because I have, and I wonder if you have said these same words in the midst of our temptations to turn away, when it seems easier just to go away. We hear these words coming from our lips. I honestly don't know where else I'm going to go. As confused as Peter may be, and as confused as we may be about our own faith in Christ and God, Peter has glimpsed something that he has never seen before. He has glimpsed God. And he can't turn away. And maybe that's why each of us, each of you is here, because in this place, as imperfect as we are, as imperfect as it is, as imperfect, we too have glimpsed God. And for Peter, if that means struggling with a whole lot of distasteful things that go with it, then Peter will consent to struggle. Peter will not give up the truth he has found in Christ, even if that means he is called to wrestle with issues that call him to change. So I believe Peter's words have great meaning for us today. While I've only been your pastor for a short period of time, I am learning and hearing many of your stories, of your joys and your struggles. There have been times for some of you where you have experienced so much pain, so much sorrow, that it may have been tempting just to go away. I'm sure throughout the history of this congregation, some have been challenged to understand Scripture in a different way, or work for justice in a new way. And as with any congregation, some have left. And some of you may have been tempted to leave over the years. But you also know that deep in your heart, you have experienced Christian community in this place. You have glimpsed God. And you, like Peter, say, well, where else am I going to go? So you stay in this imperfect community receiving love and support, grace and forgiveness. And beyond these walls, whoa, our world is in a constant state of flux. A hurricane drops tons of rain in Hawaii right now. Children are still separated from their parents. We are nearing a midterm election and we can barely keep up with the daily breaking news. We seem more polarized by the day. Where else are we going to turn? Now more than ever, it seems we need to have a place to come and be, to work for justice, to be together. Who else, where else are we going to turn? On September 16th, we will hear our presentation of our future story. A story which imagines what First Christian Church Falls Church might look like in 5 to 7 years, or maybe even earlier. It is a story that I think will help witness to the love of God we know in Jesus, allowing us to broaden our witness and welcome to become a place for many to echo Peter's words, but where else will I go? And for others to receive a glimpse of God. The glimpse of God that we've witnessed here. It's not just our story, but it is God's story for us. 2007, I had another privilege of leading a delegation to the country of Bosnia. There were about 8 of us through church world service. It was 12 years after a terrible war, and the country was still recovering. On this particular rainy day of the rainy trip that we had visited Srebrenica, the site of the genocide of over 5,000 Muslim men by the Serbians. It was a heart-wrenching sight to see so many grave sites. Some in our group wept, while others on the bus asked the obvious question, how could this ever happen? It was a time for our doubts and our anger to grip us. And it was around lunchtime, too. So some of us got a little grumpy as we were supposed to stop for lunch, and our host kept telling us, very soon, 5 minutes very soon turned into 10 minutes very soon, turned into a half hour very soon, turned into an hour very soon. As the rain continued to fall and the fog settled in, it was difficult for our bus driver to even see the road. The complaining on the bus escalated and some became, well, hangry. You haven't heard of that term before, hungry, angry, hangry. Our small bus van stopped. We thought we had arrived, but the discussion was, could we continue up this road where we were going to have our lunch? Well, we decided we could make it. So we progressed and found we were heading up to the top of a small mountain. We wove our way up and up and up we went, looking over the side of the road, until at last we saw some remains of bombed out houses, and there at the top of the hill, as the sun broke through the clouds, was a village of people. They were waiting for us. And there was this makeshift table. It was a piece of wood, and as legs, they had cut off some branches from the trees. And on top of it was this amazing spread of food. Soup and meats and cheeses and bread. They were Muslim, we were Christian. They didn't speak English, we certainly didn't speak Bosnian. But it was the table that had brought us together. It was indeed here that we experienced a glimpse of God. It was here that we shared in a form of communion. And in the midst of our grumbling, in the midst of our complaining, in the midst of our being hangry, in the midst of wanting to give up, we had made it. And we received love and grace and even forgiveness from these people who had nothing but a meal to offer us. In those moments in my life when I feel that it's time just to turn away, and there have been many, I cling to memories like this one. And like Peter, I say, well, where else am I going to go? Where else am I going to turn? In that moment, we received a glimpse of eternal life. Friends, we made it. We finally made it to this end of this chapter. And we may still be confused. We may never fully understand this flesh and blood stuff. We may even be tempted to give up and just walk away. But remember the words spoken from this table. Remember those times that you have received glimpses of God in your own life. And remember and celebrate. And maybe, just maybe, you'll hear yourself saying,